A while back, I did a video about the Nitecore NU25 headlamp, where I claimed that it is the best ultralight headlamp on the market. Recently, Nitecore came out with new NU25 models. And today, we're going to take a look at them and see if they're still the best ultralight headlamp on the market. Did they improve on the NU25? Let's find out. I want to start though by thanking Nitecore for sending me both of the new models of the Nitecore NU25 to try out and review. Now let's get into whether or not they actually improved by coming out with new models. So like I said, the new Nitecore NU25 comes in two models. There is the ultralight model, like this, that has the shock cord all the way back for your head strap. And then they have the sports model, which is half shock cord, half strap, like the old model did. Are they still considered ultralight? It's kind of hard to compare the old model to the new models because the weight from Nitecore on the old model did not include the strap. So I went and weighed mine with the strap that came with it. Total package came in at 1.9 ounces. The new ultralight model, like this, with the shock cord, comes in at 1.59 ounces. The sports model comes in at 1.98 ounces. I'm not sure how they cut off half of the strap, replaced it with shock cord, and came out heavier than the old model with just a strap all the way around. I guess the shock cord weighs more than if you had the strap continuous. Seems odd though. One of the things I really didn't like in the new models is they took away the moonlight mode, or the 1 lumen mode. Now the new moonlight is actually 6 lumens, which isn't a huge deal, but I really like the moonlight mode, especially when I'm traveling with my family, in a hotel room, or camping and hiking with other people, and I don't want to disturb them. The moonlight mode was perfect for that. And the 6 lumen moonlight, I guess you could call it, mode, it's just a little too bright for me. Another thing is the button configuration on the new Nitecore models is kind of confusing, and it's a lot less user-friendly than the old model. One of my biggest gripes with the button operation now is that you have the red light button, but it is mixed in and cycles through white lights along with the red light. If you want a red light, you don't want to ruin your night vision by cycling through a white light mode by accident. I'm really not sure why Nitecore did that. Why? Why Nitecore? Another thing that's a little confusing, or at least took a little while for me to get used to, is the old model, you just pressed a button and the light came on. Now you have to long press. So you can't just see, like, it doesn't do anything when you just press on the buttons. You have to hold it down to get it to come on. It's a little bit annoying. And then you have to do the same thing in reverse to shut it off. If you do quick clicks, it just cycles through the modes. So you have to hold it down and remember to hold it down in order to shut it off. This really gets to be an issue with that red light, white light cycle like I was talking about, because you're used to just clicking it off like the old one. If you do that in the red light, it cycles through to a white light, and then you're blinded at night. So you have to remember to hold down the button to shut it off from the red light if you don't want to cycle through to a white light and blind yourself. The new lights do have a lock mode, just like the old lights. But one thing I don't like about it is it gives you an indicator flashing white light when you lock it. If I'm doing that at night, when I'm putting the light away, I'm gonna blind myself just locking it so it doesn't turn on accidentally in my backpack. Then, when I unlock the light, rather than just unlocking, it goes into one of the white light modes. Again, you're using a headlamp mostly after dark when you don't want to be damaging your vision. Why turn on this bright white light when you're unlocking the light? It just doesn't make sense to me. Why? Why, Nitecore? If anything, it should go into the red light mode right off the bat when you unlock it. Or how about just no light at all when you unlock it? I do really like the shock cord option on the ultralight model. I don't know if you remember, but I actually took the strap off of my old NU25 and replaced it with shock cord on my own. But the problem is, the old NU25 really wasn't built. The harness back here wasn't built to handle shock cord. So it didn't last very long. It actually broke the harness, had to replace it. And when I replaced it, I just put the strap back on because it just wasn't built for that. But I do prefer the shock cord. I really like that setup. I also really like that Nitecore switched to a USB-C charging port. It used to be a micro USB, which meant I just had one more cord I had to take with me on backpacking trips. Almost everything I bring on a backpacking trip charges with the USB-C. Thanks, Apple. The old NU25 maxed out at 360 lumens. The new one maxes out at 400 lumens. So they did brighten the light a little bit. But what they did in return is they reduced the throw of the light, so it doesn't shine as far. The throw went from 88 yards on the old to 70 yards on the new. So you have a 25% reduction in your light throw. I hardly ever use the additional lumens, so 360, 350 to 400, like that really doesn't matter to me. But I do want the throw, because if I am using the bright light mode in my headlamp, I'm wanting to see far distances. It's not like I need a really bright light right here in front of me. I want the distance with that bright light. Especially like on a hunting trip, if I'm trailing some wild game, I want to be able to look out into the woods a little bit, things like that. It just doesn't make sense to me to reduce the throw by that much with more lumens. I don't need the more lumens up close, I need the more lumens further out. One of the best things about the new models though is the battery life. The new models will last 45 hours in ultra low mode, which is the 6 lumen mode, versus the old NU25s would only last 16 hours in the ultra low mode. That is a significant increase in battery life for no additional weight in the light. Along with that extra battery light, Nitecore added a really cool battery level indicator. Now on the old model, it was a single light and it flashed in different patterns based on what your battery level was. I could never remember what the patterns were. Like if it's 2 flashes, that's 50%, or no, 2 flashes is full, or if it doesn't flash at all and just comes on, maybe that's full. Like I really couldn't remember. I had to look it up every time. So the battery level indicator on the old model was basically worthless. Now it's just 3 lights, and those 3 lights light up if it's full, only 2 lights light up if it's going down, only 1 light lights up if it's low. It makes sense. Like I don't have to look that up every time. So let's get down to it. Are the NU25 headlamps still the best ultralight headlamp on the market? I feel like Nitecore went and mimicked their main competitor, which is the Petzl Bindi, at least in my opinion. And they mimicked all the stuff I hated about the Bindi and were the reason I bought the Nitecore in the first place. They took the complicated button operation from the Bindi, added that to the new models. They took the goofy light cycles from the Bindi, added that to the models. And in return, they threw out all the things that made the NU25 better. Very simple operation, light cycles that made sense, light modes that made sense. I don't understand why they would copy the bad stuff and get rid of the good stuff about the light. It just doesn't make sense to me. But it is still a great ultralight headlamp. And it would still probably be the one I'd choose. Although, to me, it's a tie. It's no longer the best. That's the ultimate answer. I don't believe it's currently the best ultralight headlamp out there. Is it tied for the best? I would agree with that. So it's really a toss-up, and based on what you want, what your needs are, what you like in a headlamp, to me, it comes up to a toss-up between the Petzl Bindi and the NU25 from Nitecore. Have you guys tried out the new Nitecore NU25 models? If you have, leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought of it and whether you think it's still the best ultralight headlamp out there. And until the next video, I look forward to seeing you in the real outdoors.